So I've got my deep space plane established, and I'm going to move forward to that secondary hill. And while I'm working on that hill, I'm going to be thinking of the transition forward into the middle ground. So as I work on this area, I'm not just thinking hill, I'm going to be thinking furthest back hill, moving to forward hill, moving to middle ground. And that way, I'll be moving one loop of space that's going to prepare me to work on the foreground. And I always want to have that in mind, that this hill is not a flat phenomenon. It's a large mass of Earth that's moving in space, and that's going to be crucial to this composition. It's really where that atmosphere starts to materialize itself into forms, and we're going to try and get as much detail as we can into the forms of that area without bringing it forward. So I need a more purpley, cool shadow color. I'm going to get that Venetian red a little bit closer to that white. And I'll put a little ultramarine blue over there. And I'll create this area right there. Someone described the area on Gifford's palette as where he mixed colors as a battleground. So if I want to make a purple, the battleground will be here between red, white, and blue. Let's get a little bluer purple. Let's see where we are. I want more white in that. I want a nice even, more white for a cool color will make a nice even layer of space. And so I'm just putting a nice load of white into there and spreading it around so it has a smooth atmospheric quality. I'm going to start to come up to the edge of the contour of the hill. I'm going to try and not make it too even. I'm going to add little tree edges up there in a little bit. I'll add some texture to it. I'm going to use a warm brown color because I know a little bit of that color from the sky underneath is going to come through. So I've got burnt sienna and burnt umber. I'm also going to grab a brush to use as a mahl stick. And I wanted to move my tree in a little bit closer to the landscape. So I think I'm going to plant that pair of trees right about here, just leaving a little bit of area behind it. And I'm just going to add a little bit more medium so it's a nice light line when I start to trace out where I'm going to place this tree in the composition. I want it to be, I want it to have that feeling of loft, that it really swoops out into the landscape and rises up into this area of space. So this doesn't have to be perfect trunks yet. I'm just planning out the big motion of this tree so I know that it'll occupy the space that I want it to occupy. And these lines will probably get buried under the more detailed work as the tree develops. And these beautiful oaks always have these lovely swoops in their branches, and I'll start to think about that as I block this in. Isn't it kind of nice the way this curve here counteracts the curve of that hill and makes a lovely harmonic design that is subtle. It doesn't beat you over the head with it, but it's apparent, and it's a gesture that shoots back into space. Those two things against each other. So I'll plan a little bit where I'm going to have the counter curving tree and its sort of massive foliage. And then I know I'm going to have some more trees over here blocking out a lot of the distant space on that side. And so if I have these ones planted on the ground here and here, then I have a deeper position of space here to sort of create a nice grouping of trees to cover up that space so that we can really get back into the composition. A lot of times when I'm painting a studio painting, I'll go through several different figures before I find an option I like, but I might also wait a long time and look at the painting, and as I've looked at it for days and days, I sometimes discover right where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing. So we'll see if that happens later.